Forbes, 5,800 people watching. I'll give you guys a link if you want to watch it. Thank you, everybody, for being with me tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show. I don't know, got tight. I wasn't sure how long Amir Sarfati's talk was going to be, but it was great having him nearby. So, much love to you all. I see Deb's up. She's
Hey, Chris.
out there in the... Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Chris. Can
Hey.
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you drop that link in chat? Maybe I can, or in Zoom chat, maybe I can play it.
Yeah, that's historic right now, so that's a good thing.
Well, let me ask you something. Did they strip the... So it isn't... Okay, thanks. Is it in the Senate now passed? I thought it already passed the Senate.
Passed the House, I believe.
Well,
No, it passed the Senate. It says it's...
So now it should be going into reconciliation. So are they? That's a pretty quick vote if it's gone to reconciliation.
Backwards, it says members of Congress speak on the House floor, and this is supposed to be... Yeah, I'm confused because the other day I was thinking, well, I thought it went to the House first and then the Senate.
Yeah, it did. It passed the House about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Then it's been sitting in the Senate. Senate, I think, today finally passed it, or last night or something. So it should be going back to the House because they got to strip whatever it is so that it reconciles, so there's one bill instead of two. So,
yeah, Poe said it passed the Senate and went to the House. Thank you, Poe. It's good to see you out there. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, so that's what's going on with it. But they had their people, somebody just changed their vote. And because it's failing right now, but Johnson's he's keeping the floor open as long as it takes. So they're going to have to stick around. They're not going to get to go on their vacation until, because it's 4th of July, Independence Day, and he's going to keep them there until they buckle down. That one idiot was this Fitzpatrick. He was wanting money for Ukraine, so he voted no. And I thought, yeah, okay, how about you just give us your passport and go move to Ukraine? Let somebody that is pro-America take your spot, you turd.
Well, and I'm getting confused because I've heard two different things. Is they kept the funding for illegals to get Medicaid. I think
they were trying. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if that passed or not, but I know that they were trying really hard.
I mean, that is so. I mean, and what's so frustrating is the people that think that's a good idea. Seriously?
Are you people crazy? I look at that as like, you gotta be crazy. Dingy.
Yeah.
Dingy. Yeah, I don't. They're communists and they're traitors.
The American people that think that it's somehow a good idea, it's like, that's the reason why we're so far in debt. That's the reason why sending all this money to overseas, sending this, allowing for funding all these social, whatever you want to call them. That's the reason why we're in so much debt. If we got rid of that, we would be out of debt and probably have a surplus.
Yeah, it's done on purpose to destroy our nation. And the same, bring them in and then give them everything they could possibly want so that they're living better than every single American. Give them an entitlement attitude and then take it away so they attack Americans, legal Americans, and start stealing their stuff and causing chaos and civil war. That's the whole thing behind it, is confusion. And there are 8 Republicans that have not voted yet. Massey changed his vote to no, which is not surprising. Marcia said illegal Medicaid is out of the bill. Thank God.
Marcia said what?
Anyway.
Okay.
These big bills like this, it shouldn't be like that anyway. It should be individual, standalone bills so that they can't stuff things in there that shouldn't be there. But that's how they roll. They'll put a few things that people want, and they'll shove a bunch of dirty stuff in there nobody wants, but they won't pass it to get the good stuff through
Well,
if they don't vote for the good stuff.
they need to trim down the pages. I mean, are you kidding me? It's over. It's almost 1,000 pages. What? Last I heard, it was 940 pages. Come
There's no
on.
excuse for that.
And
No
I think that
excuses
was the
for that.
Senate bill too. I think that was the Senate version. I'm like, come on, really? I mean, I know they got to trim the fat, but that's bad when it's 900 and something pages.
For it. They're supposed to be there for a year. I think they're not even there for half a year. They're on vacation most of the time, but they're getting $170,000. I think they can sit their butts down in their chairs and pass individual bills or not, but they need to be done individually. They have the time. So let them do that. Instead, like right now, who's in their seat? Nobody. They'll need to be in their seat until this either goes forward or backwards, whichever way they're going to do it. Instead, they're out there drinking their beer and having their caviar and making backroom deals. It's just disgusting.
Wow, and then
Sick
I
of
mean,
it.
who gives them the authority to give themselves raises?
Yeah, no kidding.
Since
It could be
when?
voted on, and I think somebody would. Yeah, when did they start doing that?
Who knows?
A lot of them, what they do is they just make something up and start doing it, and it becomes precedent, and then they don't stop. And everybody assumes it's the right thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me mad.
Yeah.
See, not voted 8 people so far. So if they would vote, yeah. I think what's happening is they're working on deals for their district, or they're doing the like, I'll give you this if you vote yeah, and they're holding out because they want to get stuff, free stuff. Judgeships are, because some are retiring. Tillis is retiring.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, there's a couple of them that are. Thune is not running again either. Let's see how I can.
Yeah.
That's just.
And they have 3 of the Democrats died. So and there's the Republicans are still losing, even with 3 less Democrats. So it tells you a bunch of they are. Oh, President Trump is not happy.
I don't know if I'll be able to share this after all because it's just right. Oh, okay. I don't have the sound right, so we talk, but at least you can see something.
I've got the audio turned on this, but there's no sound to it. I guess because they're not saying anything.
Hey, Chris, are you moving away from the mic? Because
Nope.
You keep going in and out on my end.
Really? I don't know what's on. No, I'm sitting in one spot. No.
I wonder if it's my thing then.
I don't know. It could be. People are having problems hearing me the other day. It might just be once my computer is on for so long, it seems to start.
Well, I mean, did you see that Mary Tyler Greene wants to do a new census and make sure they get all the illegals off the voter rolls and then have everybody redistrict? Ooh.
Yep. That after this bill is voted on, they're going to start concentrating on the vote fraud. You've seen little rumblings about 2020, certain things coming out.
Yeah, it's like the exploding heads, right?
Okay, Brad said it's me. He said he hears it become garbled a bit. Okay, Big Lee, it's definitely my mic. And I noticed it Monday night. It just started doing that. I don't know why. Probably update.
Probably. Hey, so some news for everybody. I'm starting to do live stream through Rumble. I've got part of my issues worked out without having to use OBS, by the way.
Really?
I just I mean, it's really weird. The interface with YouTube is a lot better. Probably because YouTube has been around for so long. I mean, it was so easier to do it just through your just through your browser, just do it. But for whatever reason, it stopped doing it. I was able to do it once. You Rumble is called Rumble Studio, which is very similar to YouTube Studio, and it allows you to stream to other platforms, other apps like YouTube, Twitch, Reddit, X. But the thing is, I'm having an issue right now with trying to share through Zoom. So once I get that figure out what setting I need to do streaming, I'm doing. But I'm still going to continue to record Zoom because I want that Zoom backup. So
good thing to have.
So it's gonna take some time, but I'm getting it. So
I'm glad to hear that. That's I mean, I'll check out Rumble again. See if that's I can end up doing too. I want to use the multi-streaming platform. Although I do like being able to pull up titles on pages. If you look at like Freak TV, he's just one guy, and he's got when he streams, he's got like titles. He's got his identifier icon. He's able to switch pages quickly, which is Pam is the same thing. But I want to be able to do that again. I got it done once. I just need to sit my buns down and do it. I got so much going now.
Well, if you ever do, if you do and get it figured out, let me know. But I tried tutorials. The things with the tutorials are just so because it's geared for their computer and everybody's computer.
And the tutorials don't always give you the tutorials. They go, okay, do this, and do this. And it's like, I don't have that command. I don't have that drop down. I don't have that word in my list of options. And I'm like, right there, even before you get started. It's like, I've run into that over and over again.
Yep.
He's in bed already.
Yep.
He's multitasking. What are you doing in bed already? It's only, 8:30? Quarter after 8. I'm still up where you're at.
Probably has maybe one of his migraines.
Maybe. Clifford, you're on X? Am I following you, or are you following me? I want to follow you just to give you a hard time. Yeah. 13, that's 11:15 here. 3 hours are going to be over there. Oh, 6. He is there now.
I wish I could be down
Wouldn't that
for
be
the
nice?
count.
Picture. Guys can just lay down or out. They've always
someone in this chat is actually saying, please don't let this evil bill pass. I'm not sure what's in it. Well, I think people are so worried about the deficit in it, but you gotta remember, we gotta get this stuff cleared up before the deficit will reverse itself. You get the right stuff in this bill, everything, the deficit, the debt, it will all reverse itself.
Yeah, and the majority of Republicans are. There are certain ones that usually work if there was. I mean, there'd be a few bad things in it, but they can wrangle later. The important stuff is the big stuff that Trump's been wanting to get through, so it'll help him move forward with what needs to be done. I have to trust it on that. I hate the fact they're spending so much money, but if he can make it up and reduce the debt and balance that budget, then it's all good. I think he can do that. I mean, that's why I voted for him the first time, because he was a good businessman. I knew he could fix our economy.
Well,
he did.
I was going to say that he what he did the first time. I mean, that's like when he had to. Gosh, these people on the live on the chat. Oh gosh, I'm thinking about the border wall. When he took the money away from one place and put it in a different place. So they get the border wall fit or done because they didn't want to. They didn't want to close the border, and gee whiz. So
Well, they didn't want to close the border because they didn't want another election.
yeah.
Close everybody because they were using it, the illegals themselves didn't vote. They just used the registration, the ones that got a driver's license. My mom never voted because she was ill. It was illegal for her to do so because she was not an American citizen. But because what I got in the mail, I got a jury summons, and that comes from the voting pool,
Mm-hmm.
from the elections. So my county itself, I've got it sitting right here on my desk looking at it. It's an illegal thing. And Washington State, oh my gosh, you can't, let me see, you can't request of certain things. I couldn't believe when I saw this. Somebody posted it in the in X. Oh, did I keep it? I don't know if I kept it. I was hoping I did. Let me see if I can find it in my iPad. But it might be in my screen room. Where is it? Anyway, I don't have it on it. It talks about how you can't get a count of the ballots. You can't get pictures of the ballots because in my county, pictures supposedly and file them. You can't get copies of it. So why do they even do it? You can't. All these things you can't. There is no assurance that the elections are even legal. They've made it so you can't get any of that stuff. And so here I'm on ballot sitting here. When they decide to start looking into vote fraud in Washington State, I've got handy because I'm going to send copies of it to whoever needs it to prove vote fraud in Washington State. It's crazy. It's just absolutely. And we've got a communist governor that has just I don't know what his very band of bandits is doing, but they are going to. I think they passed a bill that now my tax dollars are going to pay for hard drugs for addicts, and they said that they will even inject into their bodies for them. The needles, everything they need, they're going to give it to them. And I'm like, what the heck is good? Well, I remember I told you they were worshiping Satan in the basement of the Capitol, and that was over 20 years ago. This is the result. It's a spiritual war, big time. People need to realize that. And I sometimes even forget about it because you get so frustrated.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, that's like in California, they can't even question whether or not, if you hire someone. Miss Nolly was telling me, you know, she had hired some people, and she's like, they can't even really, they can't even ask if they're legal. They can't have them show documentation whether or not legal or illegal. Just like
or it's going to fault, I think. I do
like
think
when you go into, just like when you go and vote, and they don't want your driver's license. And I was sure before, all I was, when I said I wanted to vote, or I wanted to register to vote, and I did on the last day. I think I did it on election day, I believe. And I went there and took my driver's license just in case. She asked me if I had gone to the DMV. I said no. So I guess she looked me up under using my social. I can't remember. She asked me for my social, but she looked me up, and I guess she found out that I wasn't active anywhere else, and she asked me if I wanted to vote, and I had to fill out the registration, and then I said. She asked me if I wanted to vote that election, on election day. So I said yes, and she just, I said no, I didn't go to the DMV, and she says okay. So and I even had my driver's license in my hand, and I had went to sign the form, basically saying that I wasn't, that I, that, basically an affidavit saying I am who I am. And she says, oh, I don't need to see your driver's license. I mean, she wouldn't look at it. And then, of course, and then I get, and then she, I went ahead and did paper ballot. I wonder if it would have counted if I would have gone ahead and done the machine. But she said, put it in the blue box, and I put it in the blue box, and either they have an app that says whether or not your vote gets counted. I never got confirmation that my vote all I got was confirmation that I voted, but not if my vote counted. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if my vote even got counted. But when I got my voter's card, my ID card, voter's registration, it says I can now vote in the election after November the 15th of 2024. So, so they tell you can vote the day of, register the vote the day of, but yet when you get the voter's registration, it says, so I'm wondering if it counts. So they lied to you. So the state of California lied.
They might have counted it, but not the way you wanted to go. It was counted, but not your vote. They're just so dirty. Washington State. Okay, this is it. Never clear the voter rolls. It says across the areas the public must be able to inspect to have assurance of security and integrity. And then on the other side it says, is voter inspection permitted in Washington? Citizenship? No. Full ballot chain of custody? No. Ballot images? Court order only. Physical ballots? Court order only. Inspect envelope signatures? SOS order only. ID confirmation for file signatures? No. This is voter inspection. Election system software and firmware to verify code is clean? No. Election system admin activity logs to verify honorable use of the system? No. Election system Wi-Fi data traffic logs to verify integrity of air gap? No. Results of election system audits to verify honorable execution of audits? No. It is not permitted. The voter cannot inspect that. It says you have a right to assurance of election integrity, and your officials have an obligation to provide verifiable information so you can obtain that assurance. Well, not Washington State, they've made it so you can't, even though it's illegal to do that. So I'm looking forward to the vote going on, because remember, Washington State was one of the ones that was coming after, one of 5 states going after President Trump. Just recently, Trump what it was for. They're suing him. And it's like, oh boy, I'm hoping that just kind of lights a fire under him, that he comes after him, because he hated Inslee. He called Governor Inslee a snake at least twice that I heard. One of the few people he ever said anything really bad about. Okay. So Washington State's owned by China. We had those 80 million ballots come through. The illegal ballots from China came through Washington State October 2020. That's a huge thing for the fraud. Go out on the internet, try to find reports on that. It's almost impossible to find reports on that. They have really scrubbed the internet. But Obama or Biden was saying, well, I won 81 million. I won 80 million votes, and I'm thinking that's got to be part of that 80 million that came through Washington, because they admitted that they got caught, that they came through, but they never said they sent them. Because that's a lot of ballots. Mm-hmm. You think about it, that's a lot. That's volume wise. That's a lot of space.
So, what is? I mean, I'm kind of confused. There's 10 short. There's 435 members. There's 425 votes showing. So where are the other 10 votes?
Well, number 3, the Democrats died. But that's 7 votes. Yeah, left. I don't know.
So there's no, at this point, nobody. Is this? It says agreeing on the resolution. What resolution is that? The House? I mean, the Senate is
as amended. This is the House floor.
Yeah, I mean, what exactly are they agreeing? I'm sure it's the budget or the BBB, the big beautiful bill.
The title underneath says the House of Representatives debates and is expected to vote on the big beautiful bill.
Okay, yeah, I see that now.
4 hours ago. night, I think it was last night or the night before, I had it on my computer and I laid down and went to sleep at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and they're still in there. It's like, good, you earned some of that money, you losers, slackers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems to think he got their votes. So Marcia said NV equals no vote. 8 of them haven't voted yet. They weren't there and are supposed to be on their way, but that was about an hour ago. Did you see Nancy Mace out there?
I don't pay attention to these people anymore.
Showboating. She arrives in some kind of like a limousine van, gets out, she's got her hair's messed up, and she's wearing pajamas and slippers, and she goes in, and it was disgusting. It was, it's like insulting to the office. It was so disrespectful. And she schleps in down the hallway to go to her vote or to her office. It was like disgusting. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yep. The lights on.
I don't pay attention to them anymore because they're all just fools. They're playing their part. They're doing whatever they're being told to. I don't know.
Whoever the most money is, or whoever threatened the family with the most viable threats. Who knows? The one that voted no, the one Kirkpatrick, I think was his name. He wanted, all of a sudden, he decides he wants that money to go to Ukraine. It's like, Ukraine? Are you kidding me? He moved to Ukraine. No, and he ran. He fled. He didn't want anybody talking to him, which tells me that's a sign of guilt. I think he took money. I think somebody bribed him for that vote. And because otherwise, why would he not stay behind or at least walk out? They said he ran out. I never saw it, but they said he ran out. So I'm guessing that that's what happened. He got money, and I want to see these people audited. I want their finances audited after this to see how much money they took to vote.
Yeah, that definitely needs to. That definitely needs. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that so far it's the usual suspects: Kowski, Collins, who's the McConnell, and
well, they're Republicans. Look at McConnell's not. Murkowski, he's a freaking leftist. The ones that are and Massey, yeah, those are one that stupid supposedly. Ron Paul's son, and I never did that.
Rand Paul,
and I never liked or trusted him, and he tends to vote with the Democrats. If you're going to vote how many things do you have in common with Democrats? I don't any. I kind of get why it's like, that little feel good. Well, poor people, they need a place. They need to have every opportunity in the United States more than any other place in the world to get something like that on their own. But I understand their desire for people to live a better life, but I don't want them doing it, clawing their way up on my back. For the most part, I don't have anything in common with the Democrat platform. So how can these guys vote that way unless they're really Democrats? I don't think they're really Republicans. I think they got in by pitting. They put an R next to their name when they ran for office, and lazy Republicans that vote straight party ticket never looked into them to see what they were really about.
No, that is so true. That's how they infiltrated the Republican Party. Isn't it funny that a few Republicans infiltrate the Democratic Party to switch? I mean, everybody keeps saying they did the big switch. No, they didn't. Yeah, I know I mentioned last time that, I never thought of the Civil War as politics. I thought of versus North versus South, and it was funny that the North had the more problems, but yet somehow the North is considered Republican versus the South was considered Democrat. So I don't know. That just kind of blew my mind when that concept came out. I was like, really? Because I've always, my family conservative, voting Republicans, but and it's just weird. I don't know. And
back in the day, in the 50s, the Democrat was not like they are today. In the 50s, everything was hard left. A Democrat in the 50s was a moderate Republican today. They're just so different. People don't know because they weren't alive back then for the most part, but their ideals and what they voted for was totally different. And nothing, our school systems have gone communist. And so people assume that this, oh, I'm a Republican, I'm very conservative, compared to 30 years ago, you're kind of left-leaning. But they don't know that because it's sad to see it, and it's a frog in the pot. That's why they did it that way. They're very patient and take everything down. Yes, this has been broken long before that, Clifford. If people really looked into what JFK was about, he got in through vote Fund, and he was implementing gun control things. My mom gave me the executive order on it. I was kind of surprised, but I remember when I was a kid, she hated him. She hated JFK. And she keep forgetting it. She says, the reason, she says, I saw communism starting to rear its ugly head in Canada when I left, and I didn't want it to happen here. So that's why she got involved in researching and politics here, was because she saw it happen here. She was trying to stop it. But yeah, she did a lot of research on these jokers, and she knew about she did deep research, and she had files on everybody, dirt on everybody. It was pretty amazing, actually. I wish I still had that stuff. A lot of it got burned.
Well, look into JFK's, was it Joe Kennedy? Joe Kennedy. I mean, he basically, remember Camelot, Kennedy Camelot.
He was a dirtbag. He got his money bootlegging. He had planned for one of their sons to run and get into presidency. He was with the mafia. He was the Catholic mob and the bootlegging business. And that's how he got his money. I think a lot of it was blackmail too. He had a daughter, and I can't remember which one it was. She wasn't a Democrat, and she had Republican, not really, but conservative Republican type outlook on things. And he had her committed to an insane asylum and give her a lobotomy. That's the kind of guy Joe Kennedy was. I don't know if LBJ was worse than Kennedy's dad. LBJ was. I remember people hated him. People in here hated him. I was a little kid, and I remember people talking about what a dirtbag he was. Yeah, LBJ was filthy, filthy.
Oh, yeah, my mom, he used it to get his library built in Austin. And okay. My mother did not like that. Hate being pretty strong word. She hated him with a passion. And actually,
yeah, he did.
I visited his library, and let's see, gosh, I've done this before. I listened to his the LBJ tapes, and they were being the recordings on PSB, not PBS. When this is back in the 90s, before PBS was completely taken over. But the recording, how he twisted, the Warren Commission, the guy to I didn't remember. I'm going to with Warren Commission would be Warren, but the way he twisted the guy's arm to chair it, and Lady Bird was not any better. She was just as ambitious as her husband, and
Clifford said he went into a huge war. Well, he did because they were making money. Lady Bird Johnson owned the factory that made the C-sections, and they were all making money, so they didn't want to stop it. It wasn't even legally declared a war; it was a conflict, but they didn't want to stop it because everybody was rolling cash. Meanwhile, our boys are getting chopped to pieces. They were probably Satanists when you think about it. Because a Satanist would not care about human life. It's easy. Yeah. Mike Johnson says we're about to get those votes right now. said the GOP is closing out what's needed to advance. This is courtesy of Marcia through Mario Newfall. He expects to get a final vote by early morning, despite earlier Republican direct defections that stalled the procedure. We're about to get those votes now. And then he said, he has the votes to advance the bill. This comes after he just met with Chet, Sparks, and Massey. At least one of them changed their vote. Was it last night when they had it in the Senate? One of them changed their vote. So I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Thank you, Marcia. She's really close for us.
Yeah, right. Define early morning. Yeah, that's true. Probably by
what, 2:30 in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is the eye of the beholder, I guess.
So
well, that's good. It sounds like they're moving along.
He probably was. I mean, I went, like I said, when I went to the LBJ library, and it was interesting. So I went to three presidential libraries now, and
what were they like? I've never been in one.
They're different. I mean, they basically give. Of course, I was so much younger then that like they had an exhibit at the time. They had an exhibit where Labour about what it like in the car when JFK was assassinated, and the motorcade, and she gives a. But one of the things that they would say, like when JFK was alive, that he, how they replicate the Oval Office when they're from when their time as president, and when he was still alive, he went in and he would sit at the library in his Oval Office, and so I mean, he had that good old boy persona, and so he would surprise tourists to come through there when he was still alive, and like I said, it's been so long ago. Of course, the Bush Library, Bush 41 in Houston, they had was it not Star Wars, that was Reagan. Gosh, because they have everything broken down. It just depends on the library and how they fund it and what they put in. But now that I've been to the Reagan Library twice, it's and the Reagan, not the Reagan, the LBJ Library, they did it so you didn't have to pay to go in. The library was free. I don't know if it's still free though, but that was his desire to have it free. And I don't remember, because I don't remember how much you had to pay to go into the Bush Library. But I
think they pay to go into them, but I guess they need to get them up. They're not operated by the government, are they?
No, they're run by there's like the Reagan Library has a committee, and they do get donations, but they have the volunteers, the people that run it, volunteers, change out the exhibits and everything. They don't get paid to do all that.
Well, they could have I would imagine that would be endowments and donations and maybe grants to keep it going. Because, they have to clean them, they have to repair roofs, they have to paint, there are things that they have to do. So that makes sense. See, I've never been one. But I heard that, as far as I know, Obama's, he built an operational, and I'm thinking that's good because he wasn't really a president either.
Who?
Obama.
Oh, Obama. Well, I didn't even know it was. I didn't even know it was built. Was it built? I thought it was construction.
No, they stole the land or something. There are all kinds of lawsuits involving it. Just like it's funny, and I'm glad because, it's in disarray and chaos, which
just reflective of his entire time in office.
Well, I think I wonder if they somehow are going to strip the president since they figure out the fraud and he committed treason and in that audit that for some reason his library can't get built and yet that's what they hide all of his documents under is because of his
get
library.
Locked up in those. And that shouldn't be allowed to have them locked up in those places like that, because that's how they hide their crime, is by putting it into the presidential libraries and then making them inaccessible. So yeah, it's the whole thing. They're so flipped out. But yeah, I'd love to see if they can get the vote fraud cleared up for 2020, and then just start going back and go back and back. And then the Obama thing, I would love to see him. He needs to be in prison. What you got there, Marcia?
When you think about it, all the living presidents should need to be, since all the past living presidents should be in prison.
Pretty much, yeah, all of them.
But,
that's true. Biden, magic pen. Okay. Michelle Schnell says Trump spoke people down on the phone at 1 a.m. in a room off the House floor as the rule vote on mega bill stalled. On the call, Mast suggested he was ready to support the vote. Trump stops attacking him. Well, yes. That's funny. Thanks, Marcia. That's pretty.
That was interesting. Clifford saying his dad he used LBJ's ranch World War II Jeep so that LBJ hunted deer in the back seat of the Jeep and they would chase and shoot them. And his dad was a believer in the right way to hunt, and that wasn't it.
That's a what do you call it? Entitlement hunting.
My dad's idea of going to hunting for deer was to go get it and fall asleep. My dad was like 50 or 51 years old before he got his first buck, his first deer.
I'll be darned. Surely Massey did not suggest that. I have no issue members not liking all parts of the bill. Speak out all they want, debate it. I have a very strong feeling about members choosing to grandstand at the last minute and not being team players. People aren't telling about what they're doing.
I don't know. I'm just so tired of all the drama.
Yes, they do that on purpose to wear you down. They want you to be sick of it. You don't pay attention so that they can slip things by you that they would never normally get away with. Yeah, it's crazy. Massey, I noticed, didn't he use glasses and he didn't have a beard? Is he the one that lost his wife? Looks like he's trying to turn a new leaf and pick up girls or something. I don't know. I don't like his. I saw him in an interview with Tucker Carlson, and he came across really well. He's a smart guy, but he can't be that smart if he's just walking with Democrats all the time. But he came across really well in the video. He built his house. He made it totally off grid. He talked about how he built it, him and his kids and wife, and all the other stuff. I think he was in that vid. I think he did that within a few weeks of his wife dying. I mean, that he was on Tucker. It's really weird. I thought it was a strange thing. We don't in Moonglow have vote fraud here, and it's very pervasive. What do you think we have all the illegals for? Why do you think your country has all those illegals? So you don't have a voice. The illegals have a voice. They'll do whatever the people that give them free stuff will tell them to do. That's what it's all about. Oh, wow. I was 16 first day hunting the game. Opening day, still have the rat. Good for you, Poe. That was good. Well, I think I'm going to trot off and take care of Hobbs. Get him fed And I'm definitely going to watch because I want to see to get this done.
I don't know. I mean, if we, I can't. I'm not going to be able to keep this up and then put other things up too at the same time. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I will have to take this down so I can put other stuff up. Because there's stuff going on that I don't think people realize have happened. You know?
Lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about I think we need to stop calling the alligator alligator Alcatraz and call it Alligator Alley.
That's a good idea. Although there is an alligator alley down there already. Maybe they just did that because they didn't want the confusion.
Maybe. I mean,
and there's been a lot of memes.
And you know what? If you really look, I mean, did you? I didn't watch. I haven't watched anything really. Did you watch President Trump? Did you see the she could say virtual tour of the Florida Alcatraz?
No, I haven't been able to watch of him lately. I'm missing a lot.
So they remind me of barracks. They bunk beds. They're all full of bunk beds. The bunk beds are separated by fence, almost like a cage. You know, the cage that they said that President Trump built for the babies. Kids. But look at the beds and how the bunk beds and how they remind me of a barracks, except that with the chain link fence to keep them kind of rounded up together, kind of grouped together, and I'm not sure the idea by it, but I'm thinking, at least these people are getting to clean beds, they're getting, and yet how many, and yet the Sixers were treated horribly. Horribly. Yep. And I want to know where were the Sixers? Where were the people screaming humane? What's oh, good grief.
Remember the people that put them there and the people that voted for people to put them there. Hate. Remember the Indian guy drumming the drum and right in that kid's face, that teenage kid's face? You look at how the left has treated right. They're vicious, they're vile. Now, not every single person is, but there are enough examples. The Karens, all that stuff. If they could kill us, I think a lot would kill us. If it was legal that they could kill us, they would do it. They are. I remember most of them aren't saved either. Not that all the right is saved, but I think, how can you be a leftist Democrat and be a Christian? It's like the opposite thing. It's impossible. Yeah, I don't think you can.
You can. I mean, at this point, I'm not even convinced that some of the conservatives are Christian, because they don't understand. I mean, how can people not understand that there's kind of the reaction and the opposite reaction. When you talk about feeding the stranger, being kind to the stranger, and I've said this before, I brought it up before. God was specifically talking about the Egyptians that traveled with the Israelites out of Egypt, and they were to treat them kindly, because these Egyptians were in some cases they were the overseers, and it was to treat them now. And then the Egyptians had a duty to, it's kind of like you talk about marriage. Husbands are supposed to love their wives. Wives are supposed to. Each side has a role to play. So it's not just one-sided. It's not just about feeding the hungry, the poor, and everything. There's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And each, it's not just a one-sided thing. breaking the law by coming in illegally is not the right way to do it. And the idea that Jesus was a refugee, yes, his family went to Egypt when he was born, but guess what? They didn't stay there. They came back after about 2 years when it was safe for him to return. They didn't stay there. It's like this old guy from Maryland. Oh, he he's such a father. Oh. He had from what I understand, he had two deportation orders. He sought for asylum, and he was denied. But the thing is, the danger to him is no longer valid. So there was no reason why he couldn't go back. And did you see that? After the Supreme Court ruling that these judges don't, they can't. These judges cannot rule for the whole country, and you still have another judge that's trying to keep President Trump from doing this job.
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous they're doing. It's like, I didn't vote for you. You appointed shill. There are another bunch that need to be audited for their finances, because somebody's paying them to do what they're doing. But you have to think too, the only reason you would go against, they're going against their oath. They must uphold the Constitution. They're right there. They have broken that oath to the people and should be removed from office immediately. But they ask yourself why these nobodies are out there doing that, because they committed crimes. And somebody's twisting them by the short hairs and saying, you go up there and you say this and that, because if you don't, we're taking you down with us. So they get out there, start barking and trying to stop things. That's guilt. And so they'll pop their heads up. There's another one, grab him around the neck and yank him around and put him in the cage and run through the process for treason and seditious conspiracy. It's bad.
I would like to actually see something. I mean, other than, I know they have to have hardcore evidence, because the bleeding hearts that won't believe, that are still so brainwashed into believing
they need to get that. They don't have the truth. And I'm hoping when these people are arrested, that the truth is, not all of them are going to be, even with truth in front of them, they're not going to admit it, they're not going to see it, they're not going to want to know about it. They want to believe. Well, I asked a gal one time, she said the most crazy stuff. She was a leftist liberal. She admitted it. She was fully aware of it. And I said, so because the truth was right in front of her, she said, I don't believe it. I said, it's a fact. So it's right there in black and white. You've got video. Excuse me. She said, I don't believe it. I said, well, so tell me, how do you judge what's right and wrong, or what the facts are and what the lies are? She goes, well, I let it, and if it makes me feel bad, it's a lie, or it's not true. And if it makes me feel good, then it's right and it's good. So that's why you see all these feely type things that AOC does, all these different politicians. They try to point at Trump, and while they're pointing, and this is a technique I learned in classes years ago, you point to an area you want to put a bad feeling to, or a person, or a picture of that person. You point to them or say their name, and you attach bad feelings to it. And then when you talk about you or your agenda, like, a chicken every pot, and free this and free that, you point to yourself or you tap your own chest. And so they're literally brainwashing people. They're manipulating their brains with the words they know that work for that feelings people. You got to manipulate that. And that's why you have these people. You could have somebody, it would show Joe Biden shooting Hunter Biden in the head, and they would say, because if they like Joe, Hunter jumped in front of the bullet. They would make all kinds of excuses for it because it made him feel good to like Joe and think he's innocent. It's just the craziest things. And you can get to them, you can actually get to them, but you have to know how to manipulate them to your advantage, and it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, it's that linguistic programming.
Yes, that's exactly part of what it is. Yeah. The neuro-linguistic, that's a bit different. That's what Obama did. I remember when Obama was running, I had been going for a couple of months. I thought, how can these people possibly like that hack? Oh my God, how can they like him? I saw him just there. I was like, oh, geez, are you kidding me? But I couldn't figure out why all these people were so enamored of him. They absolutely loved him. And I kept thinking, what is going on? So I watched a video, and he was using the programming. He was using pattern interrupts and all kinds of technique, and he was using a teleprompter to do it. When you use neuro-linguistic programming, it's putting words together that don't really make sense, and that's the point of it. Because when you do that, you put a bunch of words together, your brain is trying to sort them out and make sense. Each word has meaning, right? So when they put words together that don't go, your brain is thinking, okay, what's going on here? Very quickly, it's trying to process what's said. Well, while it's processing, then put in statements, commands, like, what was I saying? It's like healthcare for everyone. Healthcare will be free, or whatever his mantra was for things. So he'll make a statement while you're trying to figure out the other stuff, and it will accept. It's kind of like trauma-based mind control. It will accept the commands because it opens a pattern interrupt. It interrupts a pattern of thought, so that if you can place thoughts into your head you never normally accept. And that's what he was doing. I just took like 2 seconds, and I could tell what he was doing. All through his whole speeches, they were like that. It comes unnaturally. It's not a natural speech. So he had to have a teleprompter. It's kind of like using hypnosis on somebody. As a matter of fact, I've got my book. No, that's not my book. I got my books on that stuff or somewhere close by. But yeah, it's interesting what he was doing. I recognized it right away. That's why when you saw him off teleprompter, they almost never let him go off teleprompter, because he's like a blithering idiot. He didn't have a teleprompter in front of him. Yeah, crazy. But anyway, yeah, that's the state of our world. Satan and his dirty tricks. So I'm going to take off, and you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in with me, and I appreciate you guys. Much love. Oh, I've got a guest coming. Next Wednesday, I've got a man running for office in Nevada. He's going to be a guest on Wednesday. I talked to him today. He's kind of excited for him. And he's a carnivore. He's going to share a little bit of both. And I've got my sale going on. CrissNaturals.com. It's half off for the silver product. So take a check.
Anyway, I'm going to share my show opener. And I shall return.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, spiritual wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take the armor of God, that you may stand and have acknowledged to sin.
Live now. My YouTube channel is live, or my account is live. My Rumble is now live. Doing live streaming. I intend to do a live stream in Rumble later this morning. So if you have a chance and you get a notification, if you're not following me on Rumble, please do so. And just kind of some FYI situation, because it is Rumble and because it is live and because I am still trying to learn how to do all the interface and everything. I don't have a virtual, that's one of the things I need to figure out, how to do a virtual background through my camera and through Rumble, and how to share my screen through Zoom, because I do want to use Zoom as a backup for right now until I get comfortable and doing things. And it'd be nice that I could start doing simul streaming during my time with Patriots Soapbox, when I'm on with Patriots Soapbox, so that maybe I could draw some people in. Anyway, I just I put out my links. To go check it out, y'all can. So where should we go from here? Everything is just it's just going crazy. May have to download it and do. Let's see. Okay. So hopefully it'll work. Okay. So this is, like I said, this is just interesting, and the way I edit it is take what you want, leave the rest. If you don't want to believe it, that's fine. I just thought it was something interesting. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Captain Kyle, and so anyway, you just I just thought this was an interesting narrative. So see what you think.
The individuals that are here in the country, they've been here in the country for a long time. There's been a lot of new influx of these sleeper cells that have been migrating into the country. And the deal is that the intent is to use these no king events and the civil unrest to bring forth a uprising within these communities and these cities, so to speak, that are democratically Democrats. And in doing so, they're going to escalate in size and in magnitude on violence over the next month in July. And I talked to Kelly about this a little bit. Haven't really talked to too many other people about it in detail. But going back to the sleeper cells are going to infiltrate into those violent situations and basically create a potential mass casualty situation and then try to blame that.
So what he's basically saying is that the events that we're seeing, those no king. I mean, they've already. I mean, you haven't heard it for a while. Now that I think about it, you haven't heard the no kings protest. I mean, has that just kind of fizzled out, uh, or is it continuing to go? Oh, hold on a second. I forgot to stop it. I thought I stopped it, but I didn't. Um, So he's saying that they're going to escalate, but he had some really interesting things. Um, I just, like I said, y'all, take what you want, leave the rest. But it just, so let me keep going.
Create a potential mass casualty situation and then try to blame that on a MAGA and MAGA individuals rising up to create even more chaos.
And we all know that that's what they do anyway. Look what happened J6, January 6th of 2021. That's exactly what they did. They infiltrated, Charlottesville. Remember Charlottesville? This is stuff that they do over and over again. They create these events, these false flag events, which does not mean that nobody gets hurt. It just means that these are contrived events. They're not organic, and it is to push an agenda. It's to convince people you're the bad guy, right? So
I want to buy your house.
And so from my understanding is that the individuals that will partake in that are going to be apprehended, and then it's going to be staged to where it appears that this truly still did actually happen the way that they planned it, but it's not going to be what you think you see. Just like the event where Trump was potentially being assassinated. That was the military. That was not what you think it was. They actually did what they did, trying to expose the actual individuals that were there to create and commit the crime. And when the capacitory or whatever the dude's name was, that was the firefighter and so on, that was parading around and everything, he was a major deep state sleeper cell that was a very, very bad dude.
again, I thought this was interesting. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I just think that was an interesting bit of information. And, I mean, who's to say it's not true, just because like I said, I thought what this guy had to say was just interesting. Um, I, and I'm probably repeat it again and again and just say that, of course we need to use discernment, be careful who we follow. I follow a lot of people just to kind of see what they say. And then, I've said this before. I follow people, I listen to what they say, and then I kind of take a step back and just kind of watch and see what they're saying. Is the information they're putting out, are there signs that support or disprove of what they're saying? So, I do think that there are sleeper cells out there. We talked about it. We talked about the satanic ritual stuff where, uh, the programming. If you remember me talking to Gina Phillips and, the handlers that are out there, that whole, you know, uh, the whole presidential assassination. They're, you know, just there's so much about the assassination itself that just just like the two uh, representatives in Minnesota that got recently that got yeah, I hate to use that word unalived because that just seems so silly that we can't call it what it is because people are so sensitive that they say if you use that word that you're promoting violence. So let's keep going.
And he did that, parading him in front of the public, showing the deep state that he no longer exists. And most people don't know that. That name is actually a name that's given to an individual that is not their real name, but it has to do with the identity of a organization that actually are assassins. How about that shit? I bet you didn't know that. So this is all going to play out to where even Sarah Adams talks about where these individuals from the crazy Islamic Republic individuals that have come into this country as sleeper cells are going to be working in tandem to where when they do some kind of situation of a mass casualty or a event where it brings in the response of the emergency responders, then they actually take out this people in that aspect that are the emergency responders, just like what happened over in Iraq.
And I think he makes a good point. We see this over and over again. Just think about, and as he's speaking, I'm thinking, and everybody's talking about the bill that's being voted on in a little bit. Uh, they like to create their own narrative. What do you think's going to happen? This, it would not surprise me whatsoever if this bill passes, which right now it looks like it's going to do. They're going to create an event that is going to change the narrative. They want everybody focused on, it's like every time something bad for the Democrats happen, then they've got to change the narrative, right? And everybody forgets it didn't. Look what happened with the Epstein list. They're at one point they're all screaming for it, and then all of a sudden, Iran had or the bombing in Iraq, and all of a sudden, so now the narrative has switched. So that's what they do. They change the narrative.
And where they would actually set off a small bomb when they would respond to it, that was the setup to get everybody there, and then they actually then did the real damage. But this is in a different way where there will be multiple type shooters in a situation where it'd be 4 or 5, and they're coming from different directions on targeting the actual emergency responders. And not only in one area, but
Remember what happened last weekend in Idaho? The guy who sent out what is an emergency call, and the ambulance drivers got there, and then they were ambushed. I mean, when I thought about that narrative, I was thinking about, remember the, gosh, was it back in 2001? After 9/11, or 2003, 4, I don't remember what year, but after, about the same time as the anthrax scare, and you had the two guys. One was an older man, and the other one was passed on as his son, and they were ambushing people. I think it was in DC, and so, I mean, that's what that reminded me of when I thought about Idaho. It's like, oh, they're, same thing over and over again.
But in multiple areas simultaneously, so it would be, where do you actually go to deal with them? But from what I understand is that they will be taken down before they actually commit the heinous crime in which is supposed to be a major false flag that's being orchestrated from the Mossad and from the intelligence apparatus of the CIA and all that are involved in that, along with Iran and other countries, to blame Iran completely for these events and saying that they can never be trusted, and to bring us back into that war type situation all over again. But it's not what you're going to think you see. The people that are going to be extinguished are not what you think you're going to see. It's all going to be something that is orchestrated intentionally to create a scenario of a potentiality of another George Floyd type situation, to bring the unrest to its forefront so that it can all be exposed and be able to take down all of the individuals that are involved in it, all the way to upwards of the individuals that are funding it completely. And when I talk about how good Hammer computer, the supercomputer, along with Palantir are, that's being ran by the AI super intelligence of the quantum system, they have it all, they know it all, and they're tracking and monitoring it all. And it's not going to be what you think you're going to see, but you're going to see it because it's going to play out like an actual movie, and it is going to be a terroristic event that is going to have this significant visual effects on purpose. But that's not really what's actually happening. So don't get caught up in it. It's not meant for you to get caught up in, period.
Thank you, Captain. And everybody, I believe.
Okay, so apparently we missed the vote. Did we miss the vote? And it passed. That was quick. Let me see if I can get that back up.
The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Doyle. The gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Smith. And the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. Neal. Each will control 15 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on the amendment to H.R. 1.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, today we're considering H.R. 1, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is passed by the Senate. This bill creates the right incentives for historic economic growth, makes unprecedented investments in our military and border security, and implements the largest spending reduction in American history by twofold, alongside other generational fiscal reforms. America's economic strength, Mr. Speaker, is the foundation of our global leadership and prosperity. but sadly, it has waned, and especially over the last 4 years. To preserve our influence abroad and our quality of life here at home, we must unleash, starting with the largest tax cut in U.S. history. Just like the first tax cuts, we can expect record job growth, investment, repatriation of capital back to the United States, record low unemployment, record high wage growth, and the lowest poverty rates in recorded history. This bill also equips our troops and law enforcement, Mr. Speaker, to defend our sovereignty, protect our citizens, and secure our border after years of neglect and lawlessness. While more work remains, no doubt, to rein in Washington's out-of-control spending and put our nation on a more sustainable fiscal path, I'm confident that H.R. 1 will make America safe, strong, and prosperous once again, and give our children, most importantly, like my daughter Jane, who is here with me today, a better and brighter future in this, the greatest nation in human history. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
Well, here we are again. As Yogi Berra once said, it's déjà vu all over again. Debating this bill in the middle of the night. Boy, this crowd must love prime time in Guam. This has been the worst process of the worst bill I have ever seen during my decade in Congress. This is not what our founders intended, far from it. And while the process stinks, the substance is even worse. The bill still kicks 17 million Americans off their health care. Record cuts to Medicaid, record cuts to the Affordable Care Act, record cuts to Medicare. But that's not all. 4.5 million kicked off nutrition assistance, mostly seniors and children. Why? To help subsidize massive tax cuts that mostly go to the top 1%. Of course, all of those cuts, over $1.5 trillion worth, don't come close to paying for more than $5 trillion worth of tax cuts. So who pays the remainder? Our national credit card. So here we are, actually voting not just for the biggest loss of health care in American history, but the biggest increase.
Sorry, look at this guy right here. Even he doesn't buy what this guy is spewing. Oh my god. Guys, this is the reason why I really don't want to watch this stupid. This is the reason why I've stopped kind of... Yeah. You know, and think about this. What did he say? Oh, let's put it on our credit card. Guess what? If we get the tax cuts and President Trump's agenda, you won't need credit cards anymore, and that's what they're fighting against. They want you to be so indebted that you'll never get out. Can you imagine paying off your credit card debt? Not have to worry about it anymore? I can't listen to these idiots. It just, these treasonous jerks. Yeah, I don't really want to do it. Guys, I mean, I guess if, you know, we can come back to it, but I don't want to listen to these, because they're going to bloviate, they're going to say Orange Man bad, and Orange Man wants, you know, and they're just going to lie through their teeth. I mean, we can come back to it later, but I really don't want to. But this guy's cracking me up here, and this lady's going to sleep. Look at her, or him. I can't tell if it's a her or him back there. And so, I've got, you know, we can come back in a minute. So, I mean, we can come back. We still got an hour and a half, but I don't think I can listen to 2 or 3 hours of this stuff. This is the reason why I don't listen to this stuff, you know, because I want to be positive. I don't want negativity bringing me down. I mean, it's not that I don't want to, it's not that I don't, it's not that I want to put my head in the sand. It's just, I get so mad. I just get so angry at listening to their lies. And I don't want to, it's not worth my mental health. So we can come back to it if it's all the same to you. And yeah, and that whole thing about Obamacare, well, Obamacare needs to be getting rid of. We know how, how many people, here's the thing, people keep complaining how Obamacare didn't save them any money and it cost them. I've seen people talking about how they tried to did y'all hear about this? Former Santa Cruz County Treasurer sentenced to 10 years in prison for stealing over $38 million in county funds. This is in Arizona, so this comes straight from the U.S. Attorney's Office out of Arizona. So Elizabeth Gutfar, 63, of Rio Rico, Arizona, was sentenced on June the 23rd, 2025 by the United States District Judge Rosemary C. Marquez to 120 months in prison. So that's 10 years. Followed by 3 years of supervised release. So for a total of 13 years, this person is going to be under scrutiny. Gutfar previously pleaded guilty to embezzling by a public official, money laundering, and tax evasion. Gutfar was also ordered to pay approximately $51.8 million in restitution to Santa Cruz County and the United States Treasury. So there's some of our money coming back. So, like I said, basically almost, it's like time and a half back. So almost double. So the people of Santa Cruz County and all Arizonans have a right to expect their elected leaders to serve with integrity and in the best interest of their constituents, said U.S. Attorney Timothy Courchain. Ms. Gutfar stole more than money from the people of her county. She betrayed the confidence of the voters who elected her. Surprise, surprise. Let me repeat that. She stole more than money from the people of her county. She betrayed the confidence of the voters who elected her. What is the odds that maybe she was not elected but selected? What if the money that she stole was going to somebody's pockets? This sentence shows that abuse of public trust will be punished. Ms. Gutfar will now be held accountable for using her official position for a huge financial gain at the expense of the residents of Santa Cruz County, said FBI Phoenix Special Agent in Charge Heath Janke. Each act of greed and dishonor negatively affected fundamental aspects of the county's operations. The FBI continues to investigate public corruption cases We remain committed to identifying and pursuing those who violate the public's trust. Ms. Gutfar violated her sworn duty by enriching herself with the public money she was entrusted to protect, said Special Agent in Charge Carissa Messick of the IRS Criminal Investigation Phoenix Field Office. Remember all those IRS agents that they wanted to hire? Well, looks like Boomerang. Taxpayers deserve to know what their elected leaders are working. Okay, hold on. Taxpayers deserve to know that their elected leaders are working in the community's best interest, not just their own. IRS CI remains committed to rooting out corruption at every level. So that stands for IRS Criminal Investigation. According to court documents, Gutfar, who served as Santa Cruz County Treasurer from 2012 to 2024, embezzled and laundered. Embezzled? What did I say? It went back to somebody's pockets. Approximately $38.7 million by wiring public funds from Santa Cruz County's account to accounts in the names of fake companies she created that performed no legitimate business. I wonder if this had anything, if they found this out through USAID. You know, wouldn't that be a kick in the pants? If that's how they got on her track? I mean, how much of this is going to was possibly affected by the 2020 election? Or even, well, she's been there from 2012, if you even go back that far. Gutfar then used the money to purchase real estate, to renovate her family ranch, to pay expenses for her cattle business, and to buy at least 20 vehicles. Gutfar's 10-year scheme involved approximately 187 wire transfers, which she was able to complete by undermining the two-step approval process required for transfers. Gutfar used the token of a subordinate Santa Cruz County employee so that she could both initiate and approve the wire transfers. To cover up the scheme, Gutfar falsified accounting records, cash reconciliation records, and reports of the county's investment accounts, thereby hiding the millions of dollars that she had stolen from Santa Cruz County. Gutfar also failed to report any of the stolen funds as income for tax purposes. Well, remember what they say about stolen money. They're not going to pay income tax on stolen money. The FBI and IRS criminal investigation conducted the investigation in this case. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jane L. Westby for the District of Arizona and Senior Litigation Counsel Nicholas W. Cannon of the Criminal Division's Public Integrity Section handled the prosecution. So, again, for people, these are the whole low-hanging fruit, but, it's something. It's something. It's not just, these people, it's a step, right? It's a step. Who knows where this is going to lead? My grandmother, she retired from the IRS and the 70s, early 70s, and she actually was able to buy a brand new
protect
car.
America's children, pregnant women, mothers, individuals with disabilities, and low-income seniors. This bill delivers on the promises the President and Congressional Republicans made to the American people. That is why I urge my colleagues to support this legislation. Now back the balance of my time.
Thank you.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So. All right. There you go. There's that one. Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, my grandmother worked with, and she bought a Buick. That was when she passed away. I got her car, so it was a '75 Buick. And then we have this one here. Oh, it's already stuff is being, drawing your attention from some other stuff that's happening. So this comes from the U.S. Department of Justice. So did y'all hear this? National healthcare fraud taken down, National Healthcare Fraud Takedown results in 324 defendants charged in connection with over $14.6 billion in alleged fraud. And this came out June 30th.
Given orders. If he wasn't given a pardon, I could see looking at that. In fact, why don't you take a look at it, Kristen? he was impeached, but yeah, it was just a fake impeachment. It was a fake impeachment. Why don't you take a look at it? I think he was so bad. They were all so bad. Look, it was the worst president in the history of our country. We've had some bad ones, but he was the worst president. But somebody told Mayorkas to do that, and he followed orders, but that doesn't necessarily hold him harmless. So take a look at it. It's a very good question, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, probably can't play the music. Let's see if I can get my. Let me see if I can get the music out of my hologram. I can figure out how to get over to it. Hey, Deb, how you doing? You're back. They're worried about you. Yeah, I just figured I'd jump in because I'm sitting here. So, just to keep it from being dead air. But I guess I'm probably coming in at 5 anyway after you're done. So, okay, I'm gonna hide right here. Okay. Yeah, right. You can stay on for as long as you want. I'm just for you to when you leave, I'm going to take over. So really, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't really know what's going to happen. I'm not a fortune cookie or nothing. I just follow what they say and you know see how it goes. Oh, I got something on that too. I just shared something on that. Let me let me see if I let me see if I let me see if I've got something. I just was looking at something on that. Let me see. Go ahead, play your thing. Yeah, go ahead. I'll be quiet.
I'm up with the sunrise today, searching for the perfect words to say, lingering goodbyes, but we both know it's time to fly. Horizons are calling to us, distance is quiet by trust. Torn apart by miles, held together by each other's smiles. We passed with flying colors, time to turn our thinking forward. Feel sense free of the ocean as we turn our faces towards it. Our stories make us stronger, and I know we can afford it. Don't all aboard, brave souls. All aboard, brave souls. All aboard, brave souls. We move on, but we never forget.
I'm not on the stream. I'm in Zoom, so I don't know if so. You shared it in Zoom. I heard it, so I don't know if it went out.
I'm up with the sunrise today, searching for the perfect words to say, lingering goodbyes, skies, but we both know it's time to fly. Horizons are calling to us. Distance is quiet, I trust. Torn apart by miles, held together by each other's smiles. We passed the flying colors, time to turn our thinking forward. Feel the sun spray of the ocean as we turn
Oh, I'm all set. I'm gonna open her up with a little Lady RWB, old school. Might as well. Yeah. 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 Yep. Well, yeah. Yeah. There you go. Little Peter. Yeah. I'm a softball. I am. Yep. Yep. My oldest son was left-handed. The one that passed away from heroin there. So, and one of his boys is left and one of them is right. So, well, at least we got the boys. So, but I'm going to open up with Lady RWB National Anthem, and then I don't know, where you guys. I was listening to this thing on nanobots that I like, but